this last video, I say, man, a lot of people don't know how long I've been working. I'll be 40 years old this year. I've been working on cars since I was 8, hands on. I don't. I was building 383 strokers at the shop and stuff, and working on motorcycles when I was 12. My buddy had a shop, and I would get out of school. I would go over there. And then one day he just turned me loose on when I finished putting them over together for him. My stepdad, he worked on cars too around the house. As I got older, I was about 14 to 15. There was one side of the garage, and he always had tools he would bring home and just let me experiment or work on stuff. And it just stuck with me. You know, when I got to high school, I got more involved in the cars. And for my internship, my senior year, I went and did some some stuff at T&K Automotive for Cal Boulevard. And I learned what I wanted to learn as far as keep my vehicles running. And I worked on some of my friends' cars, installed stereo sound systems, TVs, put lift kits on cars so they could put rims on it. And I had a little power washing and detailing stuff going on then. Now let me backtrack. I started doing air conditioning and heat when I was 13. Al Matthews he picked me up in the afternoon. I started doing duct work and stuff with him in the afternoon. Then I started taking air conditioning and heat more serious. I was around about 18 or 19. I didn't like working for UPS. I didn't like working for Coca-Cola. That was the only thing I had to really focus on. I had some money put on CDs and stuff like that, and savings. But I took air conditioning and heat more serious because I was like, man, I didn't like to be involved with a lot of people. I didn't like to be on that time clock like that. I got paid by the job when I went and worked for a company I used to work for in Raleigh. I worked for them for a very long time. You know, Alan Kelly and Company. I worked for many years. But I did my own reading, all my own studying stuff at home. I took a lot of my stuff on tests online. And I had other companies that I would work for on the weekends, something like that. And I had some other people I would go work for in general contracts. Some people would go sign for me to go take these tests, state board tests. I've been through a lot. I worked very hard to try to get where I was at. And when my son's mother, my fiance at the time, when she died, I had a choice. I had to pick and choose, and I chose to be involved. The money didn't mean nothing to me. I wanted to be involved. But when other people have agendas or plans that orchestrate, organize, and stir up confusion around you, and then when people start stealing money from you, well, they try to bring your name or company down, try to keep you from outdoing them. People lying on the jobs, or I would go do some jobs, people go back and try to vandalize them. The cars people would bring me, they would sabotage them on purpose. Another shop would be like, they found the issue. Oh, man, you know you're gifted and you're talented and you have good in you when you have a whole army, it seems like, a people trying to orchestrate and organize and put you under a microscope. Man, I don't worry about everybody, though. I stay prayed up, stay into my word. And like it says in the Bible, when you're one of God's chosen, he will send his angels to protect you. It's a spiritual warfare, man. Don't let nobody tell you it's not, because there's angels out there. There are angels out there. Just like in the Bible, we had the donkey talk. You never know what the spirit can transfer and turn. And you hear another human being tell you something about your life, and you don't even know this person. Or you be going somewhere where you probably shouldn't be going, and all of a sudden something just tell you to turn around and go back home. Pay attention to the signs around you. Get into your word. Feed your spirit, man. I say this is spiritual war. Spiritual warfare. That's what we're dealing with. People don't want to teach you that about the whole, in the churches. They don't want you to know that. Because if they taught you how to really, truly connect to God, oh, this world wouldn't be nowhere. It would be such a better place. But people don't want to follow to the original law that God put in place. That was the law. The Bible, the word, that was the law. Before everything else that man made can be changed and created and stuff add on to it. The Bible. People were just to follow the Bible, man, we'd be in a much better place. And like I say, man, some of this content that I have later on down the road, I'll get back to my happy, joyful time. Like I like to have fun. Somewhat like a little comedian, sometimes people say. But I just, sometimes God will redirect your path in life and put you back, I strayed away for a while. I grew up in the church, playing the drums. But when I started driving, I stopped going as much because I seen like the word was starting to change. And I started seeing some of the ministers put more money in their pocket. And you got some people in the church that were struggling. And I remember one time I watched a lady had been a member of the church for almost 20 years. She was a member of the church. And when her son died, she didn't have the money. And she went to the church that she had been a member at for over 20 years and asked them if they could help her. And the only thing they asked her was how much that she paid in her tithes and offering. And that woman was a giver. 20 years, she gave every week. And I think all she really wanted to do was try to find a place to have the service, really. She wanted, and they were going to charge her to use the church. But, people use the church as a business nowadays, and it's to each their own. But teach your people in your church and congregation how to have a real connection, a real relationship with Christ. Teach them how to manage their finances, too. And just don't try to take all the money from the people in the congregation. And they go home and they have to struggle. You all be blessed, be encouraged, get into your word. Be alert. Be blessed.